So as far as new action figure lines go, Operation Monster Force by Big Bad Workshop and Fresh Monkey Fiction is one of my favorite things out there right now. The whole line is filled with original characters that kind of have like a twisted take on a bunch of classic characters, and it's just really, really dope. It's definitely something that's in my wheelhouse. Today we're taking a look at the brand new Operation Monster Force Donner Party from Season 2. Huge thank you to Big Bad Toy Store for sending this out. I'm so excited about this guy. Taking a quick look at the packaging, we get a really dope shot here on the front of the figure itself. It says Monster Force. On the side of the box, it says Donner Party. And then when you open this up, we get some information about the character, and you get to learn why his name is Donner Party, and it's a really cool concept. And then over here, we get a look at the figure through the plastic, and he is looking badass. On the back of the box, we get another shot of the figure, along with some information about the world. Down here, we get the rest of the lineup for Season 2. I can't wait to get the rest of these guys, especially Halloween Boy. That figure's dope. But yeah, man, the packaging is awesome, but enough about the pretty box. Let's go ahead and get this monster out and take a look. Oh man, this is awesome. I love the design of the Donner Party character, and I really like Fresh Monkey Fiction's take on the whole Frankenstein concept because, you know, there's definitely elements of traditional Frankenstein lore, but at the same time, they gave him like their own unique spin, and it feels like original and that it works really well in the world of Monster Force, but at the same time having like Frankenstein vibes, you know? So that's really dope. I love like the Old West influence in there, like he has some cowboy elements. I wish he had a hat though. Man, if he came with the hat, that would be dope. In fact, I have a hat right here that we'll throw on him a little later. This is from the Mezco Old Man Logan. Actually, we'll throw it on right now. But like if they would have given him a hat, it would have been perfect. So, you know, I know they like to release like weapons packs and accessory packs. Maybe they could throw a hat in one of them one of these days. But yeah, man, I love the Old West cowboy influence in the design. And it's just so cool. Such a dope figure. And he does reuse a lot of parts from Van Helsing. But I think they did such a great job of adding different layers on there to make it feel completely different. Like there's like the base body is basically Van Helsing. But then they threw on like, you know, the ammunition belts. They put on these things on the forearms, these things around the legs, the belts, just all this stuff. And then obviously the head, which draws a lot of attention. Another thing that makes this figure feel more unique is that he comes with a soft goods, like cloak, cape kind of thing. And this is awesome right here. Shout out to the homie, Rebel 10 Customs. She did the prototyping on this. And as usual, she freaking killed it. But yeah, there's a wire in here so you could pose it around. And yeah, man, it's just really dope. And I like how there's blood stains on the cloak. Can you see that? Yeah, that's good stuff, man. But yeah, like I said, even though he's a repaint of Van Helsing, basically, they did so much to it that it feels like a completely different figure. For me, this is the best figure in the line so far. It has the coolest design. I haven't opened the Eraser yet. I have him. I love the Invisible Man. I know I'm going to like that figure quite a bit, but I think it's going to be tough to top Donner Party here. I just really love the design and the concept and all that, the soft goods. It's just a great looking figure. And here's a quick look at him alongside Van Helsing with all the gear removed so that we could see the similarities on these two bodies. And yeah, they're pretty much identical to each other except for the heads, obviously, the necks, and then the lower legs. Like on Van Helsing, he has long pants, so there's no like break down here in the lower leg. But on Donner Party, he does have articulation there. So I'm not sure exactly what lower leg is underneath this like boot cuff thing. I don't know. But anyways, it is different. So yeah, that's the only difference. Aside from that, the bodies on these two are exactly the same. And that's kind of surprising. I thought they'd go with something a little bigger for Donner Party. But still, I think it works. And, you know, like I said, they add so much to the Donner Party figure that it doesn't really feel like a straight up repaint of Van Helsing. But, you know, it pretty much is. And I think they did a great job with the detail on Donner Party, especially with the head sculpt. This is my favorite part of the figure. His head looks crazy. His face, the whole design is just insane. I really love like the different shades of green that we have right here for the skin. It looks awesome, man. Like check this out back here. It's completely different, but it's like sewn together or stitched together. It's like they found another like random patch of skin on a body and just kind of threw it on there. That's so cool, man. I like all the stitches and sutures and whatever they're called to like hold the different pieces of skin together. I like the way his eyes look too. Like he definitely looks like a monster, but his eyes look just like a human, you know? That's very, very dope. He looks all mad. He's got some nice detail on the teeth there. It's got a good wash to make it just look gross, you know? Really cool. He's got some hair up top. I think this is like an electrode, right? Here on the side of the head. That's nice. And then check this out, man. He's got like a metal plate. And I like how there's these bolts on the metal plate to kind of show that it's like bolted onto like the actual skull that's underneath there, you know? That's cool. And then up here we have like a little loop. And it kind of, it's kind of as if like you have that loop right there so you could open up his head if you need to. Man, that's so cool. I love that dirty look too. Yeah, man, they did a great job on this head sculpt. I love the design and then just the actual execution of the sculpt itself. It looks amazing. And then moving on to the rest of the body, he does have these ammunition belts, and they look pretty good, but there are some paint imperfections on mine. Like, I'm missing some paint on the bullets there, and then it got a little sloppy right here. From a distance, it looks fine, but up close, you could definitely see some imperfections. I do like the texture on the leathery parts, though. That looks cool. And they gave this guy a good wash, too. Look at that. It looks really nice. And there's a lot of good texture and detail on the clothing and stuff. But the wash really makes it stand out and look good. Then we do have like this flag around the arm. And this is a separate piece, so you could take that off and put it on other characters if you want. Or, you know, whatever. And it looks good. I like how it kind of has like a dirty, aged look to it. Very fitting for the character. And then moving right here, this is crazy. I like all this stuff right here around the waist. It looks like it's kind of patched together from different types of animal skins or something. We have some stitching and some belts. I don't know what this is. Maybe like a necklace that he received as a gift or something. He's got a gun holster over here, and one of his guns fits nicely in there. His revolver. We'll look at this more in a minute, but fits in there good, so that's cool. Then over here, this kind of has some cool stuff going on. Like, again, maybe things he received as gifts from like people that he watches over or something. It's got some feathers and just some other weird stuff going on here. So yeah, that's cool, man. Then down here, we have some like furry boots. Boots with the fur, you know? But yeah, really good stuff, man. An amazing looking figure. Like I said, I love the design of him. The Western kind of influence, the Frankenstein stuff going on. It's such a cool looking figure. This is going to sound completely ridiculous, but the previous Monster Force figures, they came with like too many damn accessories in my opinion. There's so much stuff in there. It's not a bad thing, and honestly, I realize this is not a valid complaint, but there was just too many accessories for me personally. We don't have that problem with Donner figure. He comes with a really good amount, and they kept it simple. Just things that work for the character. No fluff, no extras, just good stuff for him. So yeah, I like what we have going on here. He has 4 different sets of hands, including a pair of fists, and then we get a set of open hands, we have a pair of gripping hands, and then a set of gun gripping hands. And Donner Party does come with some really dope weapons, and the cool thing about his weapons is that they were done by Gridiron Studios. So Fresh Monkey Fiction collaborated with them on this release, and I think that's awesome because Gridiron Studios has been making cool weapons and accessories for a long time, so it's nice that they were able to contribute to this release. And yeah, Donner Party ended up with some really dope weapons. So here's the first one. This is a revolver, and this is nice because it fits in really well with that whole Western theme that you know, they have going on here with Donner Party. So this is cool, man. It looks really good. He's able to hold on to it. It's got some nice paint work. It's got kind of like a metallic look to it, and the handle has some brown, and he's able to grip onto it nicely. So yeah, this looks good, man. And then he does come with the shotgun, and they did a great job on this too, man. Check out the detail and stuff. The different colors. Yeah, this is awesome. We've got a little bit of silver there, some brown right there, and you can see that there's a nice wash in there as well. And it looks very realistic. You know, I'm not a gun expert, so I don't know the specific names of these guns, but this looks like it's based on a real gun. So if you know the name of this thing, let me know in the comments. But they did a great job with it, and it does have like this type of, you know, cocking function, which always reminds me of Terminator. So I was thankful that he was able to still get his hands in there without having to like stretch the fingers or bend anything, so that's good. But yeah, man, this is a great looking shotgun. And then he does come with a machine gun of some sort, and this is great too because it kind of fits in with the war aspects of Monster Force. It kind of seems like a weapon that someone would have in World War II or, you know, something like that. So this looks good, and it's well painted, except the wash back here got kind of crazy. So aside from that, it looks really nice. I love that he could hold all 3 of his guns without any issue. It pisses me off when like characters can't hold the weapons that they come with. And then he also comes with some muzzle flare effects. So we get 3 of them. Let me go ahead and show these to you. Here's the first one. I guess that would be the, is that the smallest one? Yeah, that's like the smallest one. And then he does have like a medium-sized one. It's the best way to describe them. And they look really good. They're like translucent plastic, got a little bit of an orange and yellow kind of color effect in there. And then he does have this bigger one that fits with the shotgun. And these won't fit into the revolver though. They only fit into the bigger guns. And then he does come with a smoking gun effect, as you can see. This looks really good too. And once again, it does not fit in the revolver. It only works in the bigger guns. But it looks cool, man. And, you know, these types of things are super useful when you're trying to get like creative shots. You know, when you're doing your action figure photography, having these little things to kind of just add a little bit more to, you know, him shooting someone or him like just getting done shooting someone or whatever. Like these things are really useful. So I love that they included them. And then he does come with a machete and a sheath. And this is nice because the sheath is able to clip onto the ammunition belt and it stays on there really securely. So you don't have to worry about it sliding or anything. So that's cool. But yeah, the machete itself is really nice. Check this out. I feel like there's a story behind this because it's all jacked up. Like the blade itself is all scratched and yeah, like where the hell did he get this? It looks good, man. I like how it's not too shiny. It's kind of dull and just looks nasty. Like imagine him coming at you with this. That'd be pretty scary. But yeah, they did a great job with this machete and with all the weapons. Yeah, shout out to Gridiron Studios for their amazing work on his accessories. And I love that Fresh Monkey Fiction included all this stuff, you know, like all the weapons, the soft goods, cloak, all that stuff adds a lot to this figure. So the size of Donner Party kind of caught me by surprise because I figured he'd be a little bigger than the rest of the characters. Usually when we're talking about Frankenstein-inspired characters, they're bigger than the characters that they're working with, but that's not the case with Donner Party. As I mentioned before, he does have a lot of the same body parts as Van Helsing, so he's very similar in size to him and a lot of the other Monster Force figures. But here's a quick look at him alongside the Monster Force, Delta Red Nocturnal Operations Trooper, and Van Helsing. Next up, we have him alongside the exclusive versions of the Monster Force Dracula and the Eraser. I have the standard Eraser. I'm going to be reviewing him pretty soon. I'm really looking forward to that. And then next up, we have Donner Party alongside one of the Monster Force Sleepwalkers and the Monster Force Forgotten King. And then here we have him alongside some other Frankenstein figures. On the left, we have the Four Horsemen figure Obscura, Frankenstein's monster. On the opposite side, we have the Jada Toys Universal Monsters Frankenstein. And then here he is alongside the Jada Toys Dalsim and the Mythic Legions Skeleton Army Builder 2. And then here we have him alongside some of my favorites of the year. This is the Loose Collector Grendel and the Loose Collector Ruben Flag. And then you know we have to get him in here alongside the Marvel Legends Renew Your Vows Spider-Man and the Marvel Legends Bucky Cap. And then last but not least, we have him alongside my original character Odious from Unparalleled Universe. New versions of Odious on the way. Be on the lookout for that. If you want this one here, you can get it right now. I'll leave information to that in the description below. On the opposite side, we have the NECA Mirage Comics, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Kirby, aka the King Jack Kirby. And I really like the articulation on Monster Force figures. They got a very cool setup. In the case of Donner Party, I was a little concerned that some of these things on the actual body would get in the way, but that's not the case. A lot of them are floating, so they move nicely and they sit where they're supposed to when you need them to. So I think they did a good job with all that stuff. But let's go ahead and see what we have going on here, starting off at the head. So he does have a ball joint at the lower neck, so you could kind of move it around like that, which is nice. He also has a hinge and a ball joint at the upper neck, so you're able to get him to look up to, oh, his neck is twisted. There we go. He's able to look up to about right there, which is nice. And then he could look down to right there. So using both of those joints together, you get some really good range out of that. And he's also able to tilt his head a little bit on that upper ball joint. So good stuff there. And then for the torso, I love what we have going on here. It's got my favorite setup where we have a ball joint here at the diaphragm and a ball joint at the waist. Using both of those, he's able to crunch forward a really good amount. And like, you know, as I mentioned, none of the overlay things get in the way at all. So that's good to see. Like he would get this range whether or not he had this stuff on. And then it could go back to about right there, which is pretty nice. We get some side to side movement. You can rotate on the diaphragm and you can also rotate at the waist. So good stuff there. Definitely allows you to get him into like dynamic poses. So I love this torso setup. And then he does have butterfly joints here at the shoulders, and these are pretty good, but they are a little on the loose side. Not so much so that they're flopping around or anything, but I do wish there was a little bit more tension here. But these butterfly joints actually work really good, so he's able to get his arms in front of him a really nice amount. Look at that, boom. Even with like all this stuff on his chest and the flag on his arm, doesn't really get in the way. You still get some nice range out of those butterfly joints. So yeah, that's cool to see. And then they go back a decent amount if you want to get him like punching someone or something, you know. Something like that. So pretty good range on these butterfly joints. And then he does have ball joints at the shoulders as well, so you could bring his arms up a really good amount. And then you're able to swing his arms all the way around like that. He has upper bicep swivel. He has really nice double jointed elbows. Boom, look at that. Really good range here, even with the forearm thing and the flag here. So yeah, good stuff. And then at the wrist, we just have a peg that you're able to rotate like that. And then he has hinged wrists, hinged hands. And most of the hands have the standard hinge, but the trigger fingers do have the vertical hinge, so that's good to see. And then for the legs, so he has like this belt around the waist, and you'd think that this would be all in the way, but it shifts out of the way nicely. So, you know, once again, like the range isn't really affected by this belt thing. You pretty much get the same range whether or not you have that belt on. So he's able to kick forward to about right there. Even to the side, it doesn't really affect anything. Damn. Kung Fu Frankie right here, yo. Bam. And then can't really go back too much. But yeah, pretty good movement at the legs here. And the hips are on ball joints, so we get a little bit of movement on that ball joint. But then you also have your standard, you know, upper thigh swivel. And then at the knees, he has really nice double jointed knees that bend to right there. There we go. And, you know, this overlay thing on the boot doesn't really hinder things too much, so that'll work. Speaking of that, he does have lower boot swivel. And then at the foot, you're able to bring it forward to right there, bring it up to right there. Then we have rocking ankle action. And again, like none of this like boot overlay really gets in the way because it just kind of shifts where it needs to. So that's good to see. But yeah, man, the articulation on this guy is pretty damn awesome. Definitely a fun figure to play around with. And, you know, I would say the articulation on the Fresh Monkey Fiction figures is definitely in line with things like Marvel Legends or G.I. Joe Classified or, you know, whatever, things like that. But they do certain things on their figures that I wish some of those other brands would do on theirs. Like, for instance, the torso. Like, the torso on him is like a Mafex type of torso. I would love to see that on some of those other lines, you know, from other brands. But yeah, man, I think they do a great job with the articulation. And with Donner Party, I love the way that none of these overlay pieces really affect the articulation. You still get the same movement with or without those things. So yeah, they did a great job with it. So I really love what Fresh Monkey Fiction and Big Bad Workshop are doing with the whole Monster Force thing. I'm a big fan of the concept, like taking these classic characters and kind of remixing them through an original lens. I think it's super dope. In my opinion, no other character in the Monster Force line represents the concept of the entire thing as well as the Donner Party. I love the whole design, and he just looks awesome. You know, it's a cool looking character. He feels original and familiar at the same time, and I think they did a really great job on the figure itself. If you have any of the other Monster Force figures, then you know exactly what to expect out of the articulation, because he does share a lot of body parts with previous releases, but they're all very posable and fun to play with, and you could definitely have a good time messing around with these things. And they did a great job with the accessories too. I could appreciate the fact that they didn't go overboard with it, and they didn't just like throw a bunch of crazy stuff in there. They just gave them what's essential and what makes sense to the character, so that's great. I love the soft goods poncho. I like the different hands, like the gun effects. The guns themselves are really cool. I think that Gridiron Studios did a great job on those. I think it's a very cool collaboration between these two like companies. That's awesome to see. The sculpting and the design is by far my favorite thing about the figure. I really like the way this guy looks. I love that old Western influence and then all the Frankenstein elements. It all comes together to make a badass looking character and a really cool looking figure. So yeah, they killed it all the way around, and I can't wait to open up some more Monster Force figures. I have a few more in the pile here that I'm going to be reviewing, so I look forward to doing that. But yeah, man, huge thank you to the folks over at Fresh Monkey Fiction and Big Bad Toy Store for sending these out to me to take a look at. I really do appreciate it. If you guys want to pre-order these, I'll leave links in the description below as well as in the pinned comment so you guys could check that out. And with that, I think that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Also, be sure to hit the bell notification so you know every time that I go live. Thank you very much. Peace. New Odious figures coming soon.